Hey, folks. I know you could be listening to one of a million different podcasts right now, and I am super grateful you picked this one. Welcome to The Human Show. I'm your host, Trish, a holistic life coach and a mom navigating this complex world of human emotions. Here, we will share stories, insights, research, and information to help you step into the most true version of yourself so you can be a happy human. Now let's get into it. Hey folks, this episode is going to be me sharing a journal entry. So whenever you see an episode titled Journal Pages, that's what it's about. So this entry is actually from May 2023, and here we go. I had an episode of stress and overwhelm, probably mostly overwhelmed. We were going to the campground. Lori left early. I had to pack everything up and get everybody out the door. In the middle of it, my oldest remembered she didn't get a birthday present for her friend, so I quickly took everybody out to do that and lost a half an hour of my packing time. Eventually got to the campground around 6. I was so worked up and stressed I could barely function. My son started coughing and wheezing, and I remembered that I forgot his inhaler. That may have been the straw. I was really losing it then, really out of sorts. I tried to make the kids dinner. That didn't work. I ended up getting in bed under the blankets and putting on my earbuds and listening to a bunch of meditations, trying to get myself out of it. Eventually, I got up, chatted a little with Lori, and cried a bit. She was understanding and supportive, and I think the hug helped. She went down to hang out with friends at their site, and I stayed back and sort of regrouped. After the kids were settled, I came out to the fire and had my own little burning ceremony, since this is a lunar eclipse. I decided to leave behind self-doubt, judgment of self and others, and shame. I asked the universe to help me move forward with acceptance. As I was sitting here reflecting, I realized there are phases of these overwhelm episodes I have. The first phase is all the surface stuff, the external things that are happening that make me feel overwhelmed. Then comes the point where I succumb to it and basically shut down. Then comes the shame. I feel embarrassed. If there were friends I was planning to socialize with, I feel guilty because Lori has to pick up the slack for me. After that is the recovery phase. The thing is, I never know how long any of these phases is going to last. And in the first phase, with the surface stuff, it's hard for me to recognize because I'm in it. So it's kind of like I have to move through all of the phases before I can really come out of it with any clarity. End of entry. Okay, so what's interesting about this and why I picked this one is because that was May 2023. In May 2022, I had a very similar entry where I was overwhelmed and shut down. And in May of this year, 2024, I really struggled emotionally. May was rough. And now I'm wondering, is there something about the transition into the spring season that is energetically a challenge for me? Or is there a past trauma that I've repressed that happened in May? And, I feel activated or triggered every May. Or is there something in a past life that happened in May I don't know. But it's interesting that this is every year in May. I have these breakdowns, you know. If anybody has any insight, I'm happy to hear it. So let me know. So what I would like you all to take away from this is, number one, when you are feeling overwhelmed, stressed, angry, anxious, if you're in depression or in sadness or in grief or in some kind of darkness, please remember, you are not alone. You are not alone. Number two is that everything is temporary. Everything you experience is temporary. Now that could be an hour or that could be a year. Temporary is a range. It still means it does not last forever. Everything is temporary. That entry I read was from May 2023, and hey, I'm here to talk about it because it was temporary and I moved through it. And that's the important thing to remember, is that we move through it. So when you're in sadness, when you're in anger, when you're in stress, when you're in anxiety, when you're in whatever darkness it is for you, and it feels like all-consuming, it can be really hard to see beyond it. It can be really hard to imagine yourself in the future looking at this in the past. So I want you to remind yourself, when you're in this place where you feel like you don't have control and it feels dark and you can't see your way out, just remember, it's temporary and you will move through it. You will move through it. You don't have to know what that looks like. You don't have to know what future happy you looks like. You just need to know that you're going to move through it. And if you remind yourself of that, just that, it will help you keep moving. Each of us is on our own path in life. And every path looks different. No two paths look the same. So when I'm walking on my path, in some parts, there's beautiful flowers and sunshine and rainbows and clear, sparkling water running through a stream, you know? And then I keep walking, and then I walk into these really thick woods. And it feels like I'm lost, and I'm stuck, and I'm alone. And I keep moving. And you know what? Sooner or later, I come out the other side of those woods. And then there's a new part of the path that looks a different way. You know, some parts of the path are like walking through mud. And sometimes the mud is like quicksand. So some of you might be able to relate to this. And again, as long as you keep moving, you're going to move through it. You're going to come out the other side of those woods. You're going to get through the mud. You're going to get through the swamp. You don't have to know how. You just need to tell yourself that you will move through it. At your own pace, in your own time, in your own way. That's it. just know that you will move through it. And the way, the how, that'll show up for you. But I just want you to remember that it's temporary and you will move through it. Okay. That's it for today. I hope you found some value in this. Until next time, remember, you are enough, just as you are, and you are loved. Make a great day.